Sentimental analysis, low tech. Low tech, as usual, the top of my head, but to get the hoodie because it's Bill Belichick, playoff time, and it's New England Denver championship, Manning-Brady for the 17th time in their career, probably the last. I even put in the background a New England jersey, a New England t-shirt over there, and a Denver t-shirt over there, as New England's going to be meeting Denver. So we got some low tech, but we got some better stuff to see, and we're going to see some highlights, because I'd love to go and show you, the sentimental part is that I'd love to show you all 17 games and analyze all the games that Manning and Brady played in their career. That would take too long, obviously. So we're just going to pick one for now. But we're going to try to pick one big game that they played, go over it, give you a sense of what happened. That'll be the sentimental part as we analyze one of the 17 meetings of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. But also maybe that'll be a game that could give us a sense of what's going to happen this Sunday. Can I find a game like that? Oh, yeah. Well, maybe the one 2 years ago. They met in the championship game in Denver. Denver at home versus New England. So let's go over that game. I already touched upon the other Manning-Brady playoff games where they met earlier in their career when in a S.A.L.T production called Does Manning Choke? Playoff time, where I go through all of Manning's games in his career in the playoffs, and I touch upon a couple of the ones against Brady, of course, the early New England games where Manning stunk, and Belichick dominated him. His defense really got Manning in the first few. Then Manning got him in the championship game, 38-34, when it was in Indy, and then they met for the fourth. In the fourth, they met in a championship game just 2 years ago. So let's do that game, and maybe that can help us for this coming game this Sunday. All right, so let's get a feel for the team quickly. I'm going to do this quick. A feel for New England coming into that championship game in 2013, and a feel for Denver coming into that championship game in 2013. New England was on their third straight championship game. For Super Bowl of the year of 2011, Super Bowl 46, they made it to the Super Bowl, lost to the Giants. Don't talk about that game. We'll get to that game one day. Then the year after, they made the championship game and lost to Baltimore. And now they're in their third straight championship game. New England has been pretty much the same. You could picture what New England would be. Tom Brady throwing the short pass. He's not throwing the deep ball at that time. He's throwing Gronkowski and Edelman, and Amendola's already there. It's the short ball. But for this championship game, Gronkowski's out. And I said not to mention, I didn't want to talk much about that 46 loss to the Giants. One of the reasons they lost was Gronkowski was not healthy. Let's come out, let's face it, if Gronkowski's healthy, New England, who's going to say New England would have lost that game? So Gronkowski's out for this game. How's the New England defense? Well, the New England defense is always good. They had a guy named Talib. They don't have a Revis. They have a Talib as their main secondary guy. They, Wolford, another key injury. He was out. Remember, he tore his ankle or rotator cuff, whatever, ACL. He was out for the year, so that's a big force against the run. But, they make the championship game every year. Obviously, it's another solid, tremendous Bill Belichick run team. Okay, so they're coming in having been in championship. How about Manning and the Broncos? Well, it was Manning's second year there. His first year there, he had the terrible loss in the playoffs to Baltimore. Oh, the Joe Flacco tying the game in the waning seconds with that long throw. But they rebound in the year that we're about to watch the game, 2013. Manning had, what did he throw for, like 55 touchdowns, 56 touchdowns, who knows how many. I don't look these things up before I do these S.A.L.T productions. In the first game alone, coming out of the season, he had 7 touchdowns, I believe, against Baltimore to get some revenge against Baltimore. Tremendous offensive year. He's throwing a Decker. He's throwing a Demaryius Thomas. He's throwing a Julius Thomas. Got a decent running game where he uses, Manning could always mix it in well. Defensively, however, don't picture Denver being the defense that they have this year in 2015. That's a rated number one rated defense. Back then, it was Jack Del Rio was the defensive coordinator, and it was okay. But even the talent they did have was injured for this game as well. They had some injuries as well. Wolf, Von Miller, Chris Harris, those 3 were out for this game. So it's Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, 2013 championship, and You're going to see the score right away as we are in the third quarter action. I picked spots that will give us a good sense without having to watch a lot. You know, I did a 4-part series on the game Denver-Pittsburgh last week, and if you had to watch it all, you had to watch 45 minutes of analysis. I think that was a bit much, but it was solid analysis. Low tech, of course. And here we go. Can you see that? All right, so let's. You see the score is 20-3 Denver in the third quarter.
That'll be the case once again.
Now watch some of these highlights.
They picked up 6 first downs on that touchdown drive, matching New England's total for the entire first half.
Did you hear that? As of 7:52 in the third quarter, New England hadn't even touched the ball yet in the third quarter, and Denver had just gone on a drive where they got more first downs than New England had in the entire first half. Now, I say over the same thing Nance says because I don't rely on low tech. I don't rely that you can hear Jim Nance on this low tech production. Let's see what else he's got to say. There's more. How much Denver is dominating. Look at that. Denver's first downs almost outnumber the amount of plays.
Touchdown drives have added up to almost a full quarter of action.
Did you hear that one? The 2 touchdown drives that Denver has in this game, the amount of time that they held it in those 2 possessions is almost an entire quarter. So you get a sense Denver dominated this game. I'm going to go to a couple of other spots that will give us a good sense, and we'll call it a day. Let's see. We got to get to 1:20. Now, whenever I say these numbers, that means I'm fast forwarding to a spot on the. You know what I'm doing. Hold on. I don't have to explain what I'm doing. Just do it. What's this? Okay, go ahead. Play it.
Down the field they go, and it's over everyone's head. Dobson was
All right, did you see that?
target. There's Champ Bailey who was running.
What I want to show this.
Champ Bailey was all over, never jumped around. It's going to be up here. They're going to make a little double move. But the big thing
This is a third quarter throw, down 20-3. There's the fake. Plenty of time for Brady. Okay, now you can't see that. It's very fuzzy. All right, you couldn't see that too well, but at least give the guy a chance. Brady overthrow that. Now I realize that you see the low tech. I'm going back to 1:15. There was one other thing there that they showed you. You think he overthrew? Do you think that was the only bad throw for Brady in this game? Let me show you this. Hold on. Not this play. That's a 2nd and 4 throw. It'll take a little time here. Sorry for the delay.
Holds him to 3.
Jim, what did we say coming back at halftime? Now we're going to find out.
Oh, man, don't tell me. I'm going to have to go back. Oh, yeah, here it is. Tom Brady's performance this game. Oh, you see that overthrow? That's an overthrow. And here's a down the sideline overthrow. Okay, Tom Brady missed a wide open guy earlier in the game in the first half. You saw that cost him a touchdown, and the throw. Well, look at that low tech, and then the throw down the sideline that would have led to 3 points. That was at the end of the first half. So Brady, as a matter of fact, I had friends after this game saying Brady is he beginning to diminish? Maybe he's washed up, which was further said the next year. Remember, it's the 2013 championship. It was further said the next year after the Kansas City game when they lost 41-14. Again, I had friends saying it after this championship game in 2013. And again, a couple of games in 2014, including that Chief game, led people to believe that the demise of Tom Brady was there. And then, of course, he goes on to win a Super Bowl. But I think I gave you a good sense so far that Denver's dominating. Manning's playing well. Brady's not playing well at all. And I have I'm going to skip the sacked for time purposes. I could show you Brady twice getting sacked to stop drives. One on 4th down this quarter, in the third quarter. One on 3rd down in the first half. So again, he key sacks. Denver defense was not that good. So I'm making it sound like Brady had a bad game. Maybe Denver's defense was just that good. Denver's defense was not that good. I mean, they played well in this game, but I would first blame Brady's poor performance before I would give too much credit to Denver's defense. Again, you got to give Denver's defense some of the credit. I want to take away all the credit from them, but let's face. I mean, Tom Brady, if he's having his A game, he should not be getting stopped so cold by that Denver defense that year. 142. Here we go. Last highlight. That'll give us the last sense of this game. To give us Manning's story. Give us a little bit of Manning. Here we go. Let's get a little Manning in there. Okay, wait, man, they're kicking off. Get the
issues this year.
Okay, here we go. Offensive line for Denver. There's some nice protection. That was all game. They're just showing it in one play. Well, there it is. Again, good protection. That's a second play.
Broncos have scored on their last 5 drives. 3 Prater field goals and a pair of Peyton touchdown passes.
Did you hear that? They scored on 5 straight drives, 3 field goals, and 2 touchdowns. Do I have any other? Is that it? I'm at the 143-10. That's it, I believe.
They had the punt on their first series, and they scored on their next 5.
Punt on the first series, scored on the next 5. There you go. That gives you a sense of Manning's day. And that's our wrap on that. Now, just to give you a sense of the scoring, New England actually made this a game. They made it into a little bit of a game because the only negative of Denver in this game of Manning is that they didn't put it away with touchdowns. They got a field goal to make it from 20 to 23. Then this drive, they make it 26-10. Then Brady scores a touchdown out of within 16. If they were down 16, scored a touchdown. They go for 2. Had they gotten a 2-point conversion, it would have been within 1 score. But they missed a 2. I believe the final score was 26-16. And what has that got to do with this coming Sunday's game? Nothing. Not much. I'm going to go more into this on our next SALT production. We'll actually preview Sunday's game. But again, that Denver defense was weak. This Denver defense is strong. That Peyton Manning threw 55 touchdowns. The Peyton Manning coming into this game obviously is diminished in some ways. Either hurt or he's just losing it. And check my SALT productions, 4 of them on that as you analyze the Pittsburgh game from last week. New England. What about New England on offense? Well, they have Gronkowski for this game. That's the big difference right away. They have Gronkowski. The running game is always, again, the rest of the offense is pretty much the same, but having Gronkowski makes a huge difference. How about the New England defense? Well, also not much different. So the differences from 2 years ago to this game is that Denver is a completely opposite team. Denver 2 years ago was more of an offensive team. Peyton Manning led, weaker defense. This year, you got to say that their strong point is their defense. I think you got to say that. They're number 1 rated, and they've been winning, and they haven't been giving up many points the whole year. Been strong the whole year, pretty consistent. Whereas the offense is with Manning, and then the injury, and Osweiler, and this and that. So hard to, because of the differences and the complete difference in the Bronco team, how could we use 2 years ago's game to analyze, and the weather, by the way. Oh, and the weather is going to be different for this Sunday's game. It's going to be, now it's not going to be terrible. It looks like it's going to be in the 30s, but cold weather, 30s is a lot different than 60s. It even sounds like there'll be a little rain and snow. Now, again, we go into that, how that affects the game. Certainly, if I'm New England, I got to be moving up and taking away all of Manning's short game and make sure you stop the run. Dare Manning to beat you deep. And for Denver, they put some pressure on Brady. When you get pressure on him, he's a different guy. There is no guarantee that Brady's going to have good playoff performances. As much as I like Brady in the playoffs more than Manning, Mr. Brady has had a number of bad performances, including the one we just watched from 2 years ago. We will analyze that more Saturday night. You've watched one of the 17 meetings of the famous Peyton Manning versus the famous Tom Brady. Nostalgic analysis. And that's been another SALT production. We'll be meeting you soon Saturday night to give a good preview of this Sunday's 17th and probably last meeting between Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.